Waves traders, and welcome to our weekly recap. So, first day of the week, Monday, was still July 31st. So, on Monday, July 31st, we actually ended up getting 3R. There was one trade from last week that we took on Friday that ended up being a rent. We'll take a look at that later. So total for July, we would have bagged 33R. And if your risk was 1%, like we recommend, that's a 33% increase to your account. And so the month of August so far, these first 4 days of August, we would have gotten 4R. So that brings our total so far to 7R. 3 on Monday, and then 4 more Tuesday through Friday. So 7R increase for 1 week. It's pretty nice. If you're on a $100,000 account, $7,000 if you're risking 1% each trade. It's pretty nice. So let's go through and talk about it. Before we do that, let's review our disclaimer and rules. This is not financial advice. This is just showing you what the banana signals can do. And our target is always 5R or 5 to 1. And we have a trailing stop loss. So when the market gets to 2R or 2 times our risk, we move our stop to break even. When the market gets to 3 times our risk, we move our stop to 1R or 1 to 1. And 4 times our risk, we move our stop to 2R or 2 to 1. And this is not financial advice. This is just for educational purposes. So let's go through it. Let's take a look at, starting off with the Great British Pound. Starting on July 31st, Monday, nothing there. And then, yeah, this one, there was a signal here, but I would say that's support area. That's right inside a support area. So that would be kind of an anticipation trade. We do not like to do that. So moving on to August 1st on the Great British Pound. This one depends. I don't think this one would have been triggered. I don't believe it was, but I don't remember exactly what this bar did. I mean, it opened here, and then you would think it went up and then closed down, because it closed at the bottom, and then went down and closed right here. But I don't know what it did. It could have, went down first and then back up. It's a pretty big bar, so there's a few things that could have happened there. So I'm saying, not triggered, but I did include it in the results spreadsheet because I don't want you guys to think I'm inflating the numbers. So let's call that a -1. Let's just say that, it came down, filled you, and then came back up and stopped you out, which does happen sometimes. So let's just say, just for argument's sake, that's a -1. It might not have been, but I counted it as such. And then this one definitely would have been if you just put the order in and just wait to see what happened. Would see what would have happened. It would have filled you right on that midnight bar, midnight in Europe anyway, but it's 5 p.m. here in the States. Would have filled you right there and then came back and stopped you out on the same bar. So not very good one there. But no, it didn't work out. It was a fine trade, but just didn't work out. 2 right in a row on August 1st, and the Great British Pound didn't work out. That's a tough one. But the very next day, afternoon here, would have been night or evening in Europe, we ended up getting a 5R. Would have worked out overnight for me. So this is perfect. Great impulse move. 3 candle impulse move. Pullback. That's smaller. That's about 50% of the move. We take it right to 5R. Well, not right to 5R, but we were taking a little heat on it over here. 5R nonetheless. And then there was this one over here today. I actually took this one. I got stopped out. I was thinking to come back down and retest this I was thinking to come back down here and retest this bottom down here, and give us a lower high maybe before it continued up. But it decided to go ahead and continue up right after I got my order filled. So that's a -1. All right, so that's that. On to the euro. On the 31st, nothing on the 31st. Oh wait, 31st is right here. Whoops, right here. Oh yeah, there was a 5R that ended up happening on the 31st. Now this one's kind of similar to the other one where there was a little support area. This one it hits once, twice, so there is something there, a little area. But this is definitely pushed a little bit past the area, and your entry is definitely past the area. The other one with the Great British Pound, it was a bit questionable, right? It's like the signal and your entry would have been in the area. We don't like that. We don't take those. So once we're out of the way of the support area, once we're out of it, and your entry is out of it, then yeah, then that we take that, and that would have gave 5R. So that was the first. That was on July 31st in the euro. First odd would have been on Monday. Beautiful one. All right, so, and that was it for the euro. None of these would have been triggered. Those wouldn't have been triggered. This one right here, we wouldn't have taken this one. That's way too big. First of all, that bar is way too big. But there's, as you can see, there's an area up here. So we have to kind of zoom in. That's why I was kind of zoomed out a bit when I first clicked on the euro. So to see this area, you have to zoom out a bit. And you can see it bounced. Look at that. It bounced right off the area. There were some people that took a 15-minute trade in our Discord, and they got out at break even on this one. They got taken out at break even on this one, on the 15-minute. But this one, yeah, we wouldn't take on the hourly. This signal right here on this chart, no, we would not take this because of the resistance area right there. So that's it for the euro. Onto the yen. Yen has not been very nice to us this past month, and even starting onto this month. So we got two minus R's. You know, we got two rents right in a row. Take a rent there. Take another rent there. Again, this one, I believe it would not have been triggered, but I don't remember what the bar did, so I don't want to say it wouldn't have been triggered when maybe it would have been a loss. So I'm just going to go ahead and count it as a loss. So it looks like that it opened here, went down first, and then came up and closed to the upside. That's what it looks like happened. And if that's the case, then it wouldn't have been triggered, and it wouldn't have been a -1. We would have never been entered the order to begin with. We would have never entered the trade to begin with. But I don't know what it did. Maybe it went up, triggered the order, got us in, and then came back down, stopped us out, and then came back up again, and then decided to go from there. I don't know. I don't remember what it did that day. So I'm just going to go ahead and count it as a -1, just in case. Now this one, again, this one too. This is another one that maybe it wasn't triggered. This right here, see how our ATM strategy gets us into the banana. It's very close to the bar. I'm not going to say how much because that's part of the course. And you can find out when you take the course. So, but if you got filled, you may have just barely got filled, and then it would have came back down and stopped us out. So that's what looks like it may have happened. But again, we've talked about this before. What we see on the chart is the bid price. What takes our order and what takes our stop and our profit is the ask price. So if maybe the bid hit our entry, which is definitely what happened here on the bid on the chart, but maybe the ask didn't get quite there. So maybe we wouldn't have gotten filled, and this also could have been an order that was not triggered and may not be a -1. But I'm going to go ahead and count it anyway because I don't want to inflate the numbers. I don't want anyone to think, oh, you're just making it look better than it really is. No, I'm going to make it look worse than it really is. So you can still see that even when we do that, we're still positive, but we're still up 8% for the week, man. So that's pretty awesome. If I was less, if I hadn't included these two, we'd be up 10. And there was even one more that I didn't count that could have maybe not have been triggered. So maybe even more. But anyway, another one here. This one right here, again, we would have entered. We definitely got, this one definitely would have taken our order, and we would have definitely have entered the trade. But what I'm uncertain about is if it would have hit our stop here. Because this is another one of those that got really close, obviously. I mean, that the bid definitely hit our stop, but the bid doesn't take our stop. The ask price does. So on the chart, it appears like it would have hit our stop. But I have had it happen to me where it looks exactly like this, but it doesn't take my stop. And then it ends up going. I have had that happen before with MetaTrader 4. So if that happened, we would have gotten plus 1R after the market went to 3R and then came back and hit our stop at 1R. But just so you don't think I'm inflating the numbers, I'm going to go ahead and count it as a rent, as a -1R. So another, and then this one, so that would have been another, so I counted that as another -1. Now, then after this definitely was a rent right here. But if you were still in this trade from before, if you didn't get stopped out here, you would still be in this trade and then ended up getting a +1. But if you got stopped out, you could enter again right here. If you're at full 1% risk. If you're doing less than 1%, maybe you're doing 0.5% here, then yeah, you can enter two trades at a time. But if you're entering on a full 1% risk, then don't enter don't be in more than one trade at a time. You never want to risk more than 1% of your account at a time. It's not recommended. So if you got taken out here, got a rent here, and then entered here, it would have been another rent. So that was a tough way to start the week in the yen. The yen has not been doing very well for the banana this past month or so. And that's it so far. We got one over here that, it's not even filled yet. It may get filled by the end of the day. We got, another hour or two before the close of the markets before the weekend. So we'll leave it there. We'll see what happens, if it gets filled or not. So then going on to the DAX. The 31, nothing here. I'm going to go ahead and say this one wasn't triggered. I mean, this one is a pretty obvious one. Like, it opened here, went up a little bit, and then came down and closed here. So if it opened here, we put our order in, made the signal, and then wherever we put our order in, it would have not triggered. So if you would have entered again, see, because this one's a smaller bar. Some of the other ones before on these other charts, like these were pretty big bars relative to what the signal bar was. So that's why I said, I don't know what that did. That's a big enough bar. It could have went down, then up, or up and then down, and then up again. I'm not sure. But in this one, I mean, I don't remember what happened, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, it looks like, the bars are similar size, so I find it hard to believe that it would open here, go down, fill the order, and then come all the way back up, stop us out, and then go all the way back down. I find that a bit more of a stretch with the size of these bars. I mean, maybe that happened. I don't know, but I just didn't count that one. If you want to hate on me for it, go right ahead. But I'm going to go ahead and say that one didn't get triggered. Anyhow, next trade, 5R. We did have someone in the Discord, Charlie, that got this 5R. I remember that. That was a great trade. I just got 2R out of that one. I should have been going for 5R. I should have been sticking with the strategy that I backtest, right? We try to modify our strategy, and that's where things go wrong. Just stick with the strategy and be like Charlie and get 5R. So way to go, Charlie. All right. And then next day we had a rent. This one wouldn't have been triggered. And the next day we had a rent. Got filled there, but then came back, got us overnight or early morning. Or early morning. And then one more rent here. Again, this went to 1R. Tried to go. Came back and got us out. Now it's just kind of going sideways all day today. Now on to the Dow. Not much happening this week in the Dow. Well, I mean, not many trades that happened for us in the Dow. This one, a little area here. We have 1-2 hits. And then there's like another hit here. It's a weird one. It bounces off it. So it's like that kind of tells us when this candle bounced off and made a pretty big wick there, you think, okay, there's probably some kind of area there. And then this bar with the signal on it does look promising. I'll give you that. So if you did take that one, it would have been a rent, but there is an area there. There's a little area there. And we've counted little areas like that before on this back testing that I'm doing here. So I'm just going to keep it, I'm going to stay consistent and not count it if there's even the tiniest of areas. Which it means an area at least has to be hit twice, right? So it's hit once, twice, and this third time was really kind of would make me solidify it because it bounced off hard and made a nice size wick there on that third time to bounce off it. Anyway, that's why I didn't include that one. This one, big signal. I probably wouldn't have taken that one because the signal's too big, but if we would have just taken the signals as they appear and just following the 4 rules and 2 filters and not taking the size into account, it would have went to 3R right here and then came back and got us at 1R. So that would have been another 1R from the Dow this week. And then the NASDAQ, nothing much again going on. The NASDAQ starting from the 31st. This one from last week ended up being a rent. And then Tuesday evening, for me, or really early Wednesday morning, there was this signal. And I mean, I wouldn't have taken that signal because not only because it's late at night, but because there's a gap here. So that gap is eventually going to come back and be filled. It always happens that way. So that's why I would not have entered that one. But that gaps are not part of the 4 rules and 2 filters of the banana indicator. So I went ahead and counted it. That's a -1 from the NASDAQ. And then we had another one later that day. That signal would not have been triggered. And then this one right here. If we would have got in here, that would have been went to 2R and then came back and got us at break even. So I mean, maybe a possible -1R, depending on your broker, how bad the overnight spread is, because this midnight bar, or midnight on the MetaTrader 4 platform, but 5 o'clock for me, 5 p.m. for me, this bar right here, the spread is always pretty bad. Then after that, it gets pretty much back to normal, but this bar, I mean, the spread can be pretty bad. I've had it be really bad at times, and a bar like this get me out of a trade. I don't think so. I mean, there's enough space. I don't think it would have taken us out for a -1. I really don't. But just in case, just know that that's possible in your trading. So, but just looking at what we see here, and the space that we have, even right here, right around here, the spread will be pretty much back to normal. But this bar right here, I feel like there's enough space that most likely would not have stopped us out. So this one I did count as a break even because I believe that we would have held, made its 2R, and then get taken out of break even. So that is our weekly results. Let me know if you have any questions, please. There's a link in the description below. Please join our free Discord and see our traders post their trades every trading day. See their ideas, asking questions. If you have any questions, you can become a free member and see all our content on our website. And see you guys next week. Happy trading.